Okay, so
I mean,
I haven't gotten all the details.
Okay.
Let's talk about mental health today.
Okay, good.
I think that's an important topic. Seeing that another one of our Black sisters just had a situation in the news to where 6 people lost their lives. She was behind the wheel of a car and dealing with whatever issue she was dealing with, and ended up taking the lives of 6 other people, driving recklessly through a gas station as well as through the streets. And so mental health has been a huger issue, I think, and has really resonated within the last couple of years since COVID, I think, because people were really cut off from their survival sources if they got sick. So I think we need to talk about that. I think that's a big thing in the Black community. We've been dealing with that. So,
and it's major because even doing the work that I do with my job, we deal with people who are dealing with mental health, like traumas, stuff that's going on in their lives, like major, dealing with, incest and things like that from years ago. So it's a lot of people walking around here hurting.
so let's break this down. You said domestic violence.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that contribute to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned domestic violence. You mentioned the housing crisis. You mentioned, well, I'm going to throw this in here, food shortage. You mentioned politics. Okay, so
childhood trauma.
Childhood trauma. So let's get this into kind of like a teeny little bowl. Let's talk about domestic violence.
Okay.
I think I've experienced domestic violence. You've experienced domestic violence.
I've experienced.
So that's 3 out of 3, right? What would be something if you had to talk to a younger person and tell them how to navigate through a domestic violence situation? What would be something that you would tell them to do once they start experiencing or realizing, hey, I see these telltale signs that I'm about to be abused?
Walk away.
Definitely.
The best thing you can do, especially if you've experienced it before and you know what it looks like and the characteristics of it, even the telltale signs, the red flags. Don't ignore the red flags. Red flags are there to save your life.
So what's some of the red flags?
Controlling issues. Don't necessarily want you to be around your friends and want to separate or isolate you. Have all of your time consume you. Even keep you away from family members. You have some of them that, want you to wear certain things and want your hair to be a certain way. And so it's a lot of different characteristics, but I think a lot of times young women tend to take it as cute. Oh God, he really likes, care about what I'm, and it's all fun and games until you're not meeting the representative anymore. You're meeting the actual person. Mm-hmm. So then I think that's when the bombs go off. Because you've been thinking this is cute and you got your friends in here like, girl, something ain't right about that, girl, because my man let me wear what I want to wear, and he let me go out with y'all and stuff. Why can't you come with us? Your girlfriend's gonna be your first sight. Something don't look right about this. Why we ain't seeing you? You get what I'm saying? And I think we, again, as women, and a lot of us coming from places of broken homes and things like that, we tend to try to fill those roles, I would say, whether male or female, mom roles or dad roles, and we end up in a situation that we not even mentally ready for or mature to handle.
What would you say?
I definitely agree with everything that QT said. I mean, I'm going to be honest though, for me, I've dealt with the, insecurities, like calling and, where you at? You can't even go to the grocery store for a long period of time. But at that time when I was dealing with that, I just kind of felt like, okay, well, maybe he's just old school. He, right.
just checking.
Yeah.
He just checking.
But then I ended up experiencing it in a different light with another man. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't about, how long I was gone. Not at some point, but then it got to be,
Right.
who you talking to? Take my phone, take my keys, because he knew where I was at that time. I was living, in a state. I didn't really know too many people. I knew people, but and where I live, ain't like I'm just gonna go outside and knock on somebody's door and do a Tina Turner and say, you know what I'm saying? No, I mean, I'm just saying at that
I get
time,
what you're saying.
I didn't know those people like that.
Right.
And it took me a long time to even call home because I was ashamed. I didn't want nobody to know I was dealing with that kind of stuff. And then another part of me wanted to prove my mama wrong because she was like, nah. But I'm like, she just don't understand.
Yep.
She don't know you in love.
She don't know, honey.
don't
He
know
does
how
it
to
for
feel.
me, right?
I know how I feel.
I'm gonna show her. We gonna make it.
Mama know first. Mama always know first.
I would say this. Mine stem from me putting my hands on people.
Oh.
Yeah, I have grew up watching people fight, and I thought that's how you get people to understand that
Wow.
you ain't no
Wow.
punk because
Wow.
you will fight. But the
Okay.
thing about it is, I'm still a girl.
Mhm.
I can't beat no man.
Right.
Period, point blank. I can kill a man, but as far as physically
Just beat him.
attacking him, I can't beat no
Right.
man.
I agree.
And I would tell young women to please keep your hands to yourself.
That's a
When
good
you
point.
notice that your relationship is taking a toll and you want to get physical with the person, you and that person need to give each other some space. Me and my husband have this rule. It's called the 10 feet rule.
Mhm.
You stay 10 feet, I stay 10 feet when we discussing something. That way it'll never turn into a situation where I hit him or he feel like he can physically accost me.
Mhm.
Even though he never has, it's just I don't ever want to be in a situation where I feel like I can physically hurt him.
Right. Yeah. That was me too, because it was like I felt like I needed to take the high road simply because that kind of fear, because I already knew, you know what I'm saying, you might have strength, but when it comes to when you're in a situation and you feel like your life depends on,
Man, listen.
that right there, you could be the smallest person. But, and for me, I was afraid of me having to fight for my life and these little boys that's crawling around and on the floor in between all of this. Either they gonna, be in there screaming and mama's blood or daddy, whatever.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's what I needed to do to try to diffuse the situation to keep it from.
It's just try to keep the peace.
Yeah.
Not cause a disturbance, not
Right.
call the police.
Right.
Just stay
Right.
to keep the peace.
And just be quiet and just kind of like,
Maybe that'll change things.
and maybe it would change things. Yeah, like I felt like I really started losing my own self because I was trying to be who he needed me to be so that he wouldn't be who that
Who he was
person.
being.
Right, to be who he was.
But you do know, now you know, it wasn't even he had nothing to do with you. It was people are bringing their, again, with going back, traumas
Yeah.
into relationships, not healing themselves,
Right.
not properly, getting the help that they're needing per se in order to heal. My trauma, I was raped by a person I was dating when I was 13
Mm.
and abused and left in a park. And so from that time up until I was about 37 years old, I had a psychiatrist because a young girl just learning about relationships, and you're dealing with this person who you've been seeing.
Wow.
You've been hearing some things, but we think we know everything.
Yes, we do.
We
think
we know a
it
little bit of
all.
something, and we think we know everything. That's what I used to say. And then you end up in a situation like that. You get what I'm saying? So again, it goes back to trauma. because I was traumatized by things that happened from my father. And I was running from situations dealing with my father. And I ended up in that situation. So I think, again, if you don't deal or tackle the things that you've gone through, and we all, I think, should have some type of person we can go to, psychiatrist, doctor, somebody to talk to us, you know, so we can mentally come back to ourselves. You're going to forever deal with now. You're going to always have side effects from it because that's something that's always going to be embedded in your mind. Your mind is going to be forever with you until it decides to leave.
Yeah.
You know, so working through those traumas before we get into relationships, working through those traumas before, you know, we get married, working through those traumas before we call ourselves dating, even, you know, losing our virginities, if something happened prior to that, is necessary.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we passing that pain on to the next
On to
person.
the next person, definitely. Yeah.
And you
And you never heal
can't
from
expect another human to be responsible
For you,
For things that's
you
right.
haven't-
That
you have to handle your
dealt
own
with.
stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, I
You
just-
got to deal with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to deal with, because nobody knows what that made you feel like or how that was done to you,
Yes,
your
right.
temple, your
Right.
body, you know, your mind, you know. And so you have to go and learn how to heal from those things, however you can heal. And a lot of people go towards drugs, but guess what? You know, even smoking, you're tired of smoking weed, and if you decide that ain't enough, you might cross over to something else. You know, I don't call weed a gateway drug. You know, I just say people can't numb the pain like they could with it, so they move on to something else that can. You get what I'm saying? So I just don't feel like that's something that's gonna save you, because what happens is you end up digging a deeper hole for yourself. You still got that same problem. Now you add in, you know, drugs and paraphernalia, alcohol to the equation. Sex. A lot for women, especially when you dealt with that. You want an outlet. Like, dang, well, you know, why that was done to me, maybe I ain't. And you're trying to prove yourself to a world who you ain't got to prove yourself to. You learn later. You only got to prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
And so you just got to go and reclaim those pieces of your life. But I really feel like a lot of us, or a lot of people, hadn't healed, especially in the Black community.
Yeah.
And a lot of people dealing with stuff secretly.
Yes.
And they're ashamed of it.
Yes.
And so we broke. It's a lot of broken people walking around this mud.
It is.
And climbing into a relationship. Now you're taking their broken pieces to another person, toxifying their lives out if they ain't like you, or, you know, been through those things, and you messing them up for the next person.
Yeah.
Heal.
You do, and that's serious. And what we'll have Chris do is put up the hotline for
Definitely.
for abuse,
Domestic
for,
violence.
and for counseling, because there are some hotlines that you can,
Definitely. Hotlines.
some
that you can-
hotlines that you can reach out to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I want to piggyback off what you were saying about physical, because that was something that you grew up with. Okay.
Something I've seen my whole life,
Something-
neighborhood, home, everywhere, and I've been very vocal about it. I got help
Yeah.
at different points in my life, even now.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm violent because I don't want to ever feel like somebody can control me
or hurt you.
So
Yeah.
I'm just as violent as a man. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not good. So that's something I have to work on to this day. That's why I said in my marriage I do 10 feet. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good practice. And thank you for acknowledging.
Yeah, thank you for, I was going to
For
say,
men.
because
Because a lot of us have things that we are ashamed to speak about. You put hands on you. You put hands on me. We'll put hands on you.
right. Yeah. But
So
I never did that. I've never been that either. I've never been that. You know,
violent,
physical. Yeah.
You don't fight back?
No, I mean, in the instinct when the initial happened, I was going towards, but they ran. But from that point on, I just kind of paid attention to them, and I just was like, I really don't want it to be, I don't want it to escalate any further, because it could be It could be deadly.
It can be deadly, and that's the thing. One thing we want to do before we
That's fear.
leave this session is say this: domestic violence can turn to death.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
doesn't have to start with, oh, he beat me up, put me in the hospital. It
Right.
can go from, we were arguing and I'm dead.
That's right.
And I think young women and women in general need to take this serious.
Serious.
And not play with your life, not think that you got a opportunity for a second chance around.
Exactly.
I just want to give you one more thing. When I was about 10 years old, I watched a woman be savagely beat with the radio that you pull out the car.
Oh my God.
I was standing there with all my little majorette friends. We were walking home from majorette, and the man pulled the radio out the car and he beat her in the head with it right in front of about 5 girls, 5 young women. From that point on, I realized that you have to protect yourself as a woman.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you do need to learn how to use a gun, use mace, things like that. If you are in situations where you
Self-defense
where you
classes.
feel
Yes.
scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say one more thing. I wear this chain. It says, I'm no better, but I know better. I'm no better than nobody, but I know better because of the things that I've been through. And I want y'all to take that and remember that
Absolutely.
and share that with other women.
Definitely.
That
Especially our
we
young
are
ones.
all in this together.
Mhm.
And I know some things that you may not know, but I can share with you how to get about some things.
That's
if
right.
you're willing to listen.
If you're willing to listen, if you'll be open enough to accept it, you know,
Yeah.
accept the help that's being presented to you.
Yeah.
The helping hand.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
love you.
real. I love
You better
y'all.
not.
I'm not gonna
This
cry.
is, I know. I was
Y'all,
trying not
Don't
to.
you do it.
Thank
'Cause
y'all
when
for
you said,
joining us
"Oh
on
my
our
God."
first edition of Her Talk.
Yes.
We love you, and until next time, y'all take care.
Check us out.
Peace.
Peace.